Good morning, it's Sunday. I've come down to do a few jobs and a little introduction video on the Mini. But first I needed to do a little bit of housekeeping. Now if you've got a workshop, you probably know this already, but over a period of several months you end up amassing a pile of stuff that you need to filter away into little drawers like these. Now this here is a third of my parts department, and it's for all the little tiny little bits. I also have some bigger drawers over there for the slightly bigger little tiny little bits, and I have these little things here full of stuff that has got its own place now. So I thought, it's a new concept, I don't know if you're going to enjoy this or not, but I thought you could join me as I'm putting things into drawers. No, seriously. As I'm putting stuff into drawers, and we'll have like a little bit of story time or something as we do it. Does that sound good? Maybe, I don't know. Let's see if you like it or not. So yeah, I'm ready for stuff. Is there any? Yeah, see, you've got to always look on the back of these things. This one's dirty, that needs a bit of a clean. Don't know why I'm keeping that. Some wires, pipes, don't know why I'm keeping that. Look at all this stuff. Now, there's a drawer for everything, you know. Everything's small enough to have a drawer, and I wouldn't normally give this much care and attention, but over the years, not only has it been drilled into me by my uncle that having your parts, your bits organised in the right place saves you so much time, and he used to give me the biggest bollockings in the world if I'd leave a lid off one of his tins that he had countersunk screws in, or if I'd just leave them lying around. He used to go crazy. And now I completely understand why. This is a sacred place, and yeah, it's very helpful when you're balls deep in a job and you suddenly go, oh my god, I wish I had a washer this exact size, or a dowel that exact size, or something that that might work for, or just it's just, yeah, some would say this is hoarding, but it's not. Honestly, it's not hoarding, trust me. I promise. That was a COVID face shield that my friend bought to the garage. So that can now go in a bin because COVID is now finished. I don't think it has finished. I just think nobody cares anymore. A USB charger, me jig. I haven't actually got a drawer for these, and I'm reluctant to make one, so I'm going to put that in the reluctant to make a new drawer pile. Exhaust gaskets. Dichtungen gaskets jointus. Okay, yeah. Now these look like they're going to be very handy for something, but I don't know where I got them from. I don't know what job they were for. So these can go in one of the bigger drawers over there, marked exhaust gaskets. What's this? Holly performance parts in a very old box with some little screw and me jig, me tinkers. That was for a kickdown link for the new Holly carb, and I never put it on because it just worked anyway, so a little bit of a waste of money. A keyring with Dawn written on it. That is a new sealed pack of Swizzle's drumsticks. Do these things go out of date? I don't think so. Keep those, have those for my dinner. Original distributor for the truck. So that can go back in this box down here, which I'm going to name Truck Parts. That was instructions for the flamethrower thing, which I don't need anymore, but it's got those two. Just a sucker. I can't throw them away. Probably never ever going to use them, but it's going to take me 20 minutes to get into this packet. Let me get a knife, just so I can get those two things that I'll probably never ever use. But that's not the point, is it? I mean, this is the kind of video I imagine that you could just put on as you're, you know, doing something completely different, and you just put it on in the background and keep me company while I'm doing this. Right, so what I like to do as I'm doing it, right, is I'll make little piles of stuff to go in the drawers. Save me going, drawer, open, no, one pile. So this little pile I'm going to develop over here for electric things. Right, that is a pipe. Nice little Jubilee clip though, so I'll save that for the Jubilee clip pile. Now this Python is, I think, what you'd call in the house building world conduit. So it's just a clear, heavy duty plastic pipe. And I found it on the floor outside, genuinely, and I just thought that is going to come in so handy one day for some sort of electrical work, so that can live down there. A earth strap. Electrical. Pipe I took off the truck recently that's got a split in it, but listen, you cut it off there and it's suddenly a pipe that hasn't got a split in it. Save that, Truck Parts. More pipes, so I'll put these pipes in this box as well, I think, with the truck parts. So that can be truck parts / pipes. Right. If things are too rusty, I only like to save these for real emergencies. They can go in the emergency screw pile. Same with bent nails. So if you've got a nail that's bent, you know, that's an emergency nail, that is, isn't it? So that can go in the emergency parts pile. Empty box. Lovely. Right then, what's next? This is vacuum pipe of a certain size that I bought for a job on the Amiga, so I'll keep that in the pipes box. Exciting. Oh, look at this, Halford's boost gauge, tyre pressure gauge. Didn't work. What am I going to do with that? Do I want it? Do I need to keep that? Oh, I mean, I can put it up in the echelons up here, can't I? Yeah, go up there. Thermostat for it's got a part number on it, so I'll keep it, but I don't know what that is actually for. So I'll put that in the new parts department, which is on top of the cupboard over there. More electrical things I'm never going to use. I mean, they're kind of cool. My new earbuds, pretty good, yeah. Very expensive, 400 quid they cost me, but worth it. Sound quality is really good. Okay, bolts. So we need another bolt pile here now. Bolts, bolts, dead screws. I'm not really collecting those. That was a joke. Little caps for things, little rubber caps that you can keep if you ever need to seal like a vacuum line or something if you're not going to use it. No, I'll keep those with electric, and I'll put these over here. So I don't know what I'm ever going to use this dowel for, but I'm going to put that in a pile there for dowels. Washer. Nuts. Look at this nut. It's got a beauty ring around it. That's nice, isn't it? Right, so pile for nuts. That can go there. This little bag of stuff, that's actually for the dash of the truck, which is currently being trimmed and has been for the last year. Ben, if you're watching. So I'll keep that. That is a little LED light thing, so this can go in electrics. That is a rubber grommet, so that can go in this little section here. Now, I only replaced that because it's dirty, so this one does actually work, so I am going to keep that. That feels hoardy. That feels like I'm hoarding something there, but I'm going to keep it. Why am I going to keep it? No, I'm going to keep it. It can live there, look. It's nice to look at. Radiator switch, think this is faulty, so it's going in the bin because I don't want to get confused with that at a later date. Brake pins, so they can go in the brakes department. Exhaust hanger, which we found out the other day is very handy. Loads of nuts and bolts and washers. Now these are all organised into the right sizes, so I might keep these as a little pack, so if I ever need to do something I can just grab this pack which has got the right nuts, washers and bolts in, and I don't have to go finding the individual items, so I will keep that, and I'll keep that separate. Are you enjoying this so far? Is it going well? I can't tell. Tea's still hot though. Right, more brakes, things. That's a relay again. I don't think it works, that's why I'm going to bin it. Because if I'm not confident that it works, I can't ever use it as like a, we'll test this relay in it to see if that works, and blah, 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 blah. It's not going to work like that, is it? There you go, that is a little three-way pipe and a jig, so that can go in three-way pipe and a jig central there, which is full of stuff like washer jets for washing your windscreen. Rubber circle, that can go in rubber circle section. Right, screws, so that is, if you can tell, non-countersunk. So we have a section for non-countersunk self-tapping screws. Great. So non-countersunk self-tapping. Throw that on the floor. That one is also non-countersunk self-tapping. That one, countersunk self-tapping. Seriously, are you enjoying this? I can't tell. I can't tell if this is good. I don't think like Discovery Channel will be queuing up. Right, so that is a countersunk bolt. Countersunk bolt. So that can live in the bolts department. I know, but it can. Bolts. Bolts. A nut with a washer. Now, I think you're getting the idea. So, electrics department. This is actually a little test cable that I built, so I could do with keeping that handy actually, because it is bloody handy. So I'll just pop that in there, and I can just grab it quickly if needs be. That's for cleaning my paint guns, so I need to put that up there next to the paint guns. So I think you're getting the idea now. Oh, I've been looking for that for ages. That's the impact big to middle. Should go there. Rightio. Now that you are understanding how this is going, that's a brake fitting, so that can go in the brake end tin. Put that in afterwards. I'm going to indulge you in a little bit of story time. It's an air fitting. Now, on today's story time, I wanted to tell you about a wicked prank that I did when I worked in Volkswagen, which I thought at the time was absolutely hilarious. I'm going to show you a picture now, and this picture, I want you to tell me if you think it is hilarious and if you can spot what's wrong. With the picture, because it's not easily spotted. So the story goes, I used to work in Volkswagen in a lovely part of the world called Altrincham, and I worked in the car sales side of things, and then we took a Ford Ka in part exchange that was in pretty good condition. So we took this Ford Ka in and we put it in the showroom as a joke, just so like the brand manager would come out and be like, no, that's a knackered old Ford Ka around all these brand new Volkswagens. Took him 36 hours to notice, and he didn't actually notice. We started to get cold feet, and we had to go up to him and say to him, listen, we've been doing a prank, you've not even noticed there's a Ford Ka in your showroom. And he'd walked past it like 50 times, and yeah, just hadn't noticed at all that we'd been playing a prank on him. But yeah, we got a bit nervous because like it someone from Volkswagen could have walked in and been like, what the F are you doing here? Why is there a Ford Ka in the showroom? You're all sacked. So that was a good one. Another prank we did was this is difficult to talk about pranks while I'm doing this, because this takes actually some brain power, which is weird, isn't it? That one's like glued together. Oh, is that 10mm? Amazing, 10mm. Come on! I'm looking for that forever. Yeah, I'll keep it. No, it's pretty wrecked. Yeah, so there was always a lot of sort of pranks in the office, but I'm trying to sort of find ones that I have pictures of, and there's one here that I had a picture of. I had a overcoat type thing that I used to wear, and I put it on one day, and my business manager had filled my pocket of soup that I bought in for lunch that day. And I remember putting it on, and as you do, going like that, and up to there in soup, which everybody found very funny. Oh yeah, that one goes in there. There's actually a great story on how I got sacked from Volkswagen, why I got sacked from Volkswagen, which is probably best saved for another time, because it's I think we should get to know each other a little bit better before I tell you how and why I was sacked from Volkswagen. But it was the best thing that ever happened to me. If I had stories, I've got so many stories from when I was in the motor trade, doing motor trade things. But a couple that stand out in memory is when I worked for Ford, which was my second motor trade job. I worked for Ford in Llandudno Junction, and I started off valeting cars, and a couple of things from when I was valeting cars there was when I was very young. I think I was 17 or 18 or something, and a Ford. What's the pickup truck that Ford make? You know, the Ford, not the proper one like I've got, the one that we get over here. One of those, Ford Ranger, that was it. Ford Ranger comes in, brand spanking new off the transporter, and it gets driven over to me, and they go, "Ben, we need this doing as fast as you can. We've got a customer waiting for this car. We need to get it valeted, PDI'd, pre-delivery inspection, do all the paperwork and get it out to them straight away. So valet it as quickly as you can." No problem for me. So I took the car over to this steam cleaning, pressure washing bay, and it was like well too powerful for what it was. So I started pressure washing the front of this Ford Ranger, and I got to it had chrome bumpers on it, but they weren't actually chrome, they were just like chrome covered plastic. And the pressure washer just tore straight through a corner of the chrome, and I was like, you know, because there's no chance of us being able to repair or replace anything because the customer's waiting for the bloody car. So I was like, oh God. And it peeled all the chrome off, and I was like, sugar, what am I going to do? So I pressure washed a little bit more, and I was like, I wonder if I pressure wash all the chrome off this front bumper, no one will notice. So I proceeded to pressure wash all the chrome off this front bumper, and there was bits of flakes of chrome all on the floor that I was pressure washing down the drain just before anybody could come and see what I was doing. Pressure washed it all off, and I finished valeting it, handed it over to the workshop. They did the PDI on it. Nobody picked up on it. Gave it to the customer. He didn't pick up on it. Nobody else picked up on it. And yeah, it's probably still driving around somewhere. It's supposed to have a chrome front bumper, and it's just got black plastic one. So that was good. I also got trapped in the back of a police car, because all the police cars around Llandudno were Fords, Ford Focuses. That's just a magnet. I'll keep that. That's handy, isn't it? Ooh. And the Ford Focuses, police cars, the Panda cars would come in for a service, and then we'd valet them. And the valet was quite a sort of quick valet. It wasn't anything too special, because there were certain places we couldn't go on the police car and certain things we couldn't do, like we couldn't get into the boot and all this sort of stuff. So I was doing the front of the car, giving it a good go over, and then in the back, I don't know if you've ever been in the back of a police car, but if you have, you'll know what I'm talking about. So you're sat in the back now. There's a plastic divider between you and the front of the car, big thick plastic divider that you can't get through, no chance. The seats have been removed, and they're plastic formed seats, so there's no cloth, there's just nothing in there. It's just plastic formed seats in the back. And then the doors, the electric windows were disabled, and the door handles were cut off, so you couldn't open the doors from the inside. So anyway, me being quite an innocent 17-year-old, jumped in the back of the police car with a spray and a cloth, and this was in like June or July, in like the height of the summer. And I remember jumping in there, doors shutting behind me, and me starting to wipe all this plastic down. And then I tried to get out, and I couldn't get out. And I was in the middle of this humongous yard that nobody was around. And I spent around an hour in the back of that police car, hammering away on the sides when anyone was remotely in an earshot. Get me out! Get me out! It was sweltering. I was dripping. I was like, if this is how I die at like 17 years old, I'm going to be spewing. That is not a legacy you want to leave. But anyway, someone finally came past and they laughed their head off before letting me out. So that was great. There was also a Ford Transit. Now, Ford Transit, I remember a brand new one came in, and I'd valeted it, and there was some issues with the water inside the cab. Like, I don't know what it was, like a bit of pressure washer had gone in there or something. And anyway, so I parked it up, and I thought, right, I'm going to leave that running with the heaters on for an hour and just dry everything to the bone. Great, job done. So I did that, and so left it drying and completely forgot about it. Now this, you've got to imagine, this yard is humongous, yeah. All the workshops were over here, and this van was just parked there with a load of other vehicles around it. And I just thought, I'll just walk back to it, lock it up afterwards, and take away before I go home. Completely forgot about it. Roughly a day later, maybe a bit longer, towards the end of the next day, I'd finished another Ford Transit, and I got the key and jumped in the van, and I drove over to park it exactly where all the Ford Transits get parked. And I parked it, and I stopped, jumped out, and I thought, what's that noise? I looked behind me, and the Ford Transit from the day before in the morning that I'd just left to dry out was still idling, probably, I don't know, almost 2 days later. And yeah, I think it used like it didn't even register on the fuel gauge. It was mad. And I just ran into it, like took the key out, locked it up, and hid. So someone bought a Ford Transit that had been idling for a brand new one that had been idling for a lot of hours. So I'm sorry about that if that was you and it gave you any mechanical problems down the line. Right, let's put these things in drawers. So what have we got here? Where's that one? Non-countersunk. Where do you go? These brake things. Brakes. Nuts. Where do you live? Where do the nuts live? There. Now, there's an awful lot of bolts here, so I don't know if they're going to actually fit. Yes, they are. Washers. Grommets. Where do the Wallace and Grommets live? Lovely. And those are in there. Now they are in miscellaneous, which is that one there. And in there is electrical bulbs. That kind of thing. Now, if I bend that over, is that going to go in there? Okay, and that's it. Listen, I hope you've enjoyed this episode of, I don't know, really boring chat. I've now got a couple of jobs to do on the Mini. And yeah, quick message, because I imagine this is possibly one of those videos that only the people that have subscribed to me are going to watch. I can't imagine people are searching for man talking shit, putting screws in plastic trays. I don't think that's going to happen. So it might just be the subscribers. And if it is, a quick message to you guys. Thank you so much for the support. Thank you for all the comments. I'm absolutely loving it. I've got loads more planned. I'm just waiting for a few things to fall into place financially as well as physically before I can start doing some more of the stuff that I really want to do, which is your resurrection videos. I've got a couple of things lined up, but also it's getting quite hard. People are hard to deal with, man. You know, especially on like Facebook Marketplace and stuff. I'm like sending messages to people going, "Can I come and buy this car from you?" Radio silence. They're just not interested. And you think, I just want to buy the car from you. So yeah, thanks for your support. Keep watching, and I will be doing some cool stuff. You know, this was just a little bit of a bonus because I thought it might be fun. Bye.